All right, so welcome back, everybody. Today we are diving into something a little different. We're taking a look at a conspiracy theory that's built up around the movie Back to the Future.
Oh, wow.
Have you heard of this thing called the McFly Code?
I have heard of it, yeah.
So it's this idea that the movie, it's packed with hidden messages and clues and maybe even predictions about things that have happened in the real world.
It's pretty amazing, how a movie like Back to the Future can spark this kind of speculation, this deep analysis.
Right.
It really shows you how powerful storytelling is. Yeah. It can really grab our imaginations and make us look for deeper meanings, even, when they might not even be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the McFly Code theory is basically saying that the filmmakers, whether they meant to or not, they put all these secret codes about the future into the movie.
Right.
Like, for example, some fans will point to Marty McFly's line, "Great Scott."
Oh, right.
And they think it's somehow connected to the Large Hadron Collider.
That's a really fascinating example of something called apophenia.
Apophenia?
Yeah, and it's basically the tendency for people to see meaningful connections between things that aren't actually related.
Oh, yeah.
We humans were wired to look for patterns, and sometimes that leads us to some pretty interesting places, connecting a simple exclamation to a massive scientific project.
Yeah. Okay, but hold on a second. The movie did get a bunch of stuff right. Right. Like flat screen TVs, video calls, even those self-lacing shoes. I mean, those were all in Back to the Future, and they actually exist now.
They do, yeah.
So does that give the McFly Code any, credibility?
Well, science fiction often takes, current trends and kind of imagines where they might go.
Right.
And back in the 80s, those technologies, they were kind of in their early stages already. So it's not so much predicting the future, I think, as it is imagining what could be possible based on what science was doing at the time. So I see it more as informed speculation, not, some mystical prophecy.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense, but it's still pretty wild how much they got right. But this is where things get really kind of mind-blowing. Some people who believe in this McFly Code, they think that the movie might have actually influenced those events.
Wow.
The code itself is some form of time travel, shaping reality through its predictions.
Now that's where we get into paradox territory, the idea of backward causation, this idea that an effect can happen before its cause.
Right.
It's a really, really fascinating concept, but from a scientific point of view, it raises all sorts of questions about the nature of time, causality.
Right.
There's a famous thought experiment called the grandfather paradox.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine going back in time and accidentally stopping your grandparents from meeting.
Uh-huh.
Would you even exist then?
That's a heavy one.
It is. And that's why this McFly Code idea is so captivating. There's no concrete proof, but it just won't go away. People keep finding new evidence, debating different interpretations, and keeping the theory alive.
Right.
I think it really speaks to our desire to find meaning and order in a world that can often feel so chaotic. We love mysteries, and the McFly Code offers a pretty compelling one. It lets fans connect with the movie on a totally different level. And let's be honest, it's just plain fun to think about this stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like a giant puzzle just waiting to be solved. And speaking of puzzles, there's another layer to this theory that I think is often overlooked, and it might be the most interesting part of it all.
Ooh! Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's the idea that the McFly Code might be influencing how we see the past, not just predicting the future. It's kind of a mind bender, so let's try to unpack it a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so Back to the Future is a story about changing the past to make a better future, right? But the McFly Code suggests that the film itself might actually be changing how we see the past, making us notice patterns and connections that weren't there before.
Whoa. Okay, so it's the movie is messing with our perception of what already happened.
Exactly. It's instead of a time machine physically going back and changing the past, it's the idea of time travel, the story itself, that's influencing how we interpret events.
That's really trippy. So the movie itself becomes this agent of change, not by directly changing the past, but by changing how we see it.
Right. And that has some really huge implications. It's like our beliefs and the stories we tell can actually shape our understanding of reality.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to see why this theory is so popular. It's really making me think.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder how much of what we believe about the past is actually influenced by the stories we've been told.
That's a great question, and it's something we'll definitely have to explore further as we dive deeper into the McFly Code.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. Like it's a twist. The movie it becomes this like potential uh agent of change, but not by like directly changing the past,
Right.
by shaping how we think about it.
Right. So instead of like a time machine going back and physically like changing things, it's the idea of time travel. The story itself is what's influencing how we see things that happen.
Exactly, exactly. And that idea, it's got some pretty profound implications.
Right.
It suggests that like our beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves, they can actually shape our understanding of reality.
It reminds me of some people say that Back to the Future foreshadowed like Donald Trump becoming president or the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh yeah, those are definitely attention-grabbing examples.
Yeah.
But it's really important to look at claims like that with a healthy dose of skepticism.
And that's where something called confirmation bias comes in. It's like a tendency that we have to favor information that supports what we already believe while ignoring evidence that contradicts it.
Huh.
So, if someone already believes in the McFly Code, they might be more likely to see those events as proof, even if the connections are kind of weak.
So are we saying that the McFly Code is just confirmation bias?
Yeah.
Or is there actually something more to it?
It's probably a mix of things. We've talked about apophenia, that tendency to find patterns.
Right.
But there's also like the allure of the unknown, this desire for a big story that explains the world.
Mhm.
The McFly Code, it offers a sense of order, like predictability.
Yeah.
In a world that can often feel very, very chaotic.
It's like having a secret like decoder ring for reality.
Yeah.
But if the fly code is real, if it's actually affecting our reality, then who made it? Who's writing the code?
That's the ultimate question, Is it the filmmakers?
Right.
Some higher power?
Right.
Or is it a self-fulfilling prophecy, like a loop where our belief in the code, it makes it actually happen?
That's what I find so fascinating about this theory. It blurs the lines between cause and effect.
Yeah.
Like intention and just random coincidence. It's like that whole chicken or the egg thing.
Right.
Did the movie predict the future? Or did our belief in the McFly Code make those things actually happen?
It's a question that we may never have a definite answer to.
Right.
And maybe that's part of what makes it so appealing. It keeps us guessing, keeps us engaged, keeps us coming back for more.
We've really gone down the rabbit hole here. Hidden messages, predictions about technology, time travel paradoxes, even this possibility that the McFly Code itself is somehow influencing things. But what does it all mean for the listener? Why should anyone care about a conspiracy theory about a movie?
Well, because it's not just about Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
It's a reflection of how we try to make sense of the world. We crave these narratives, these explanations, these patterns. The McFly Code, whether you believe in it or not, it highlights our curiosity. Like our need to find meaning and this fascination that we have with the unknown.
It's a reminder that reality is kind of a construct.
Right.
Shaped by how we see things and how we interpret them.
Exactly, yeah.
Think about it. What other stories, what other like pieces of art have started similar debates and theories?
Yeah.
Like from old myths to modern conspiracy theories, we've always been drawn to like hidden knowledge, secret codes, and the possibility of something more.
It's that sense of wonder, that yearning for something beyond just like everyday life. That's what drives us to explore, to question, to keep searching.
Yeah. And sometimes that search takes us to unexpected places. Places where the line between what's true and what's fiction, it gets kind of blurry.
Totally.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the McFly Code, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
What if the McFly Code isn't just a theory? What if it's an invitation? An invitation to look closer, to question everything, and to embrace the mystery that's all around us.
Because sometimes the most amazing discoveries are the ones we make right here, right?
Right,
In our own backyards, in the stories we tell, and the connections that we make.
We've explored the McFly Code from all these different angles. We looked at the evidence or the lack of it.
Yeah.
We dug into the psychology behind why we're so fascinated with hidden meanings and predictions.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the question of whether the McFly Code is real or not, it's one that you have to answer for yourself.
Exactly.
What do you think? Do you see the movie as like a prophecy? Or just a really clever piece of entertainment that's captured our imaginations?
Right.
Is there a deeper meaning hidden in the film itself?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it all just a fun coincidence? Yeah, I mean, whatever you decide. I hope, this deep dive has maybe given you a new way of looking at Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And maybe even like sparked your own curiosity about hidden meanings and patterns that could be like all around us.
Yeah, it's a really good example of how like pop culture can be a starting point for some like deeper conversations.
Yeah.
About how we relate to time and reality and the stories that we tell ourselves.
And hey, even if you don't like fully buy into the whole McFly Code thing,
Right.
It's still a pretty fun, like thought-provoking exercise.
Totally.
It makes you look at the movie and maybe even the world in a different way.
Exactly. It encourages us to kind of like, tap into our sense of wonder and to embrace those moments where like the lines between like fact and fiction, they get all blurry.
So whether you're like a diehard McFly Code believer or just a skeptical observer,
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this journey into the heart of this cinematic conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it really is a testament to how powerful Back to the Future is,
Right.
Like decades later, it's still sparking these passionate debates.
Yeah.
And it inspires us to like question what we think we know.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the McFly Code.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep your eyes open for those hidden messages,
Yeah.
and never stop exploring the mysteries of the universe,
Yeah.
both real and imagined.
Couldn't have said it better myself.